What's up, everybody? Jeremiah here, and we are back with another unboxing, and this time we're taking a look at a custom 1/3 scale DC The Flash statue. Let's check it out. Okay, so before we jump into it, I must admit it has been a while since I uploaded a video. As you can see, the office has been getting a few new updates to the statue collection. And to be honest, I'm supposed to upload new videos of these unboxings, and I just haven't had the time. Things get busy, you know, when you're managing a whole house with 2 kids, right? So needless to say, I do have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to our unboxings. But what triggered today's unboxing is my 1/3 scale custom Flash statue just came in. And if you take a look at the preview pictures of this statue, it's really not a difficult setup. So I figured, you know what, I could probably knock out a quick unboxing video and get this up and running so that those of you who have maybe seen this statue or maybe have not can get a good look at the whole unboxing process. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so here's a look at the packaging that I got. It's actually standing up right now. This is what I would consider the bottom of the package. But if we go ahead and see if I can do this slowly. There we go. Place it down. It's just your standard brown box. Nothing, I think, in terms of like logo branding or anything like that. It is, again, a custom statue. So you're not really gonna expect a lot of that. But that is it. It's not that big of a box. Fairly light, obviously, because it's not too many pieces inside. But I do have something really cool for today because I just recently got into having these like meta glasses. So I'm gonna put this on and see what it's like unboxing from my POV. Okay, glasses on. Let's get into it. We got our scissors right here, and I hope this comes out really cool on video. My first time doing like a unboxing POV this way. So what do we have here? Open this up. We've got a nice little, very simple white box over here. And I'm assuming, oh, that's very nice. It has its own sort of like styrofoam on the sides here to keep it nice and safe. So we'll go ahead and take these styrofoam pieces out. Again, it is a custom box. So no logos or any sort here. Custom box, what I mean is a custom statue, right? And which is totally fine because we're just after the awesome, awesome Flash statue here. So let me do this carefully and show everybody what's inside. Okay, this way, that way. Ooh, okay. So you got your standard sort of. Oops, don't do that. Okay, you got your standard black styro here. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what we get inside. Ooh, here comes the reveal. Let's check it out. Ooh, oh man, he is. Ooh, look at that. That looks amazing. There's the base, and obviously, this must be his head. All right. I'm going to switch to the other camera just for a better look. Yeah. Okay, so let's switch to this camera here on landscape mode just for a better look. So this is already a preview of the base. Again, nothing too complicated here. It looks like it's very, packed securely. Doesn't look like his body's going anywhere. But man, look at that sculpt. Oh! Plus the head over here. There, hopefully that is a bit of a higher def type of image. So we've got a good look already. Again, a very simple setup. And when you get it, it does come in this packaging. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the glasses back on and see if we can get him set up on the pedestal. Okay, so glasses back on. Let's go ahead and get started with setting this up. Again, a very simple 3-piece setup. We've got our nice looking base over here. And give us a preview of what to expect. Oh, that looks super cool. I love the engravings that they have. Oh, there's the Flash logo. Yes. Okay, so we're going to assume that is the front. Okay. Okay, by the way, here's a quick look at the base. And let's see if we have any. Ooh, here he is. I do have an edition size. Is that number 1? Or an 8? I don't know. But that is Ooh, really cool. That's a look at the bottom of the base. Very nice. All right, good to go. So let's start with the body here and see if I can get this guy out nice and carefully. Oh, he is huge. Okay. Oh man, you can feel it. You can feel. Oh, look at that. Oh man. Love, love, love this. Okay, so this is gonna go here. And other foot. Very simple setup, I think. Yeah. Nice and balanced. Oh man, that looks amazing. Whew. All right, last piece. Let's get the head in. And that will be that. So here he is. Nice. It's got, I like the foam that they have around it. Hopefully you can see it here on the glasses. But everything from his nose to his ears to the back of his helmet. It's all well packaged. Oh, so good. Look at that headpiece. Sculpt, paint. All right, very simple. And oh, there he is. Welcome to the best Flash piece. Oh. All right, let me pack this away. We'll get started with the review. Okay, so one more thing before we get started. I do want to make sure I take measurements of this thing, and we'll see what we get with the dimensions. So the base itself from left to right sits at around, I want to say 9.5, almost 10 inches, but really more 9.5. Then this way, depth-wise, we're looking at just under what looks to be 8 inches. Height of the base sits at around almost just under 4.5 is what I'm seeing here. So if you have that enough space, I mean, it's not really that, you know, big, like doesn't really take as much room. But it is what it is when it comes to the measurements. Now let's take the height. So the height of Flash up to his head, at least from his feet, we're looking at 2 feet almost. Yeah, about 24 inches right there. So you add that on with the base total is right around 29 inches right there. If you're going to display it, maybe get to 30 just for safety. And then the width of him is really not that bad. I think it's, if we take it from the front, from one end to another, maybe I'm eyeballing it up until his elbows. It's probably like 10 inches or so, or maybe less than that. A little less than 10, right around 9.5, which coincides with the base, right? And then depth-wise, I think the most protruding part of him is the hand right here. So if I get his hand, or maybe his foot, could be either. But I'm gonna say up until the back of his heel, you're looking at around 8 inches in terms of that depth. So, but that's for the character itself. But again, you know, you go over 10, maybe give yourself a foot clearance. That'll be pretty safe. This way as well, I would say a little, maybe more than a foot. Give yourself 14 inches of, you know, shelf space. And then height-wise, again, maybe 30 to, I would say 31, 30 is like minimum. Probably like 31 is safe. But there you go. So those are the dimensions of Flash, and I hope that helps. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into the review of this amazing piece. Obviously, a very simple setup. Not too many crazy effects. Base is very simple, but man, you really got to hand it to the sculpt. So I do want to start with the base here and see what we have. We've got the nice sort of Flash logo etched on there in this sort of like granite and stonework. I do like it. You're going to see cracks here along the ridges. You've even got just like the indentations between here at the top part and then here. Like this is an actual ridge, right? So I think that's a really cool detail. Again, taking simplicity, but just adding enough so that you can appreciate the work. You've got these little curve sort of like formations here right along the sides, and you've got about 4 of them. And it's got a nice little like swirl right here. So that's a really cool, you know, addition to it. And then you've got the I don't know what we call this, the flooring or like the bottom of the base, which also has that sort of granite feel. And that basically, if we take this, goes all the way around. Once you get to the sides, you're gonna get this little interesting design right here on the side. And I believe it has 4 X's on this side. and I think it's repeated here too, right? So very much symmetrical in a lot of ways. And then obviously you've got the back part. No other logo of the Flash here, which I think is fine. Definitely he was designed to face this way, but there you go. It's got this nice little, and this is actually caved in. I don't know if you can see, there it is. It's caved in, so it's not flat. It does add that little curvature to the piece, and there you go. I do like how, you know, it's not just your simple sort of like round or square or rectangle. It's got a shape, it's got, you know, design in the sense you got this curve going around, straight edge here. I mean, in essence, it's really just a base, but obviously it's nice to kind of take a look at, you know, the decision-making process of, all right, how big do we make the base? You know, we want it to highlight the figure, but not so much that it takes away from it. So I think this really does a good job. And then from here, you can see at the top here, you're gonna see the cracks in the, I mean, it's not cracks in the piece, but the design, right? So really scattered all the way around this piece. You got a big part of the crack coming through here. Just really trying to reflect that sort of old type of granite stonework that you're gonna find. I love how it just looks more natural. And even the shading, I think we're getting more than just like gray here. You've got like hints of, I don't know, light brown, dark gray. When it gets to the cracks, it goes even darker than that. And then you see that come all the way around. Some of it even, look at this, like scratch marks all across even the edges, right? So it's not, it's really supposed to be imperfect in a way, which is, I think, gives it that realistic effect. So, all about the base right there. Let's get into the actual sculpt. Now, before I get to the head, I do want to start from the bottom up. So, at the bottom here, we're going to see, ooh, man, his calves is just protruding. I mean, one of the biggest things about this piece was the fact that the sculpt in the musculature was really distinct, you know what I mean? And I guess it makes sense for a character like Flash, because you're gonna get all of that, you know, sculpting when you're a really fast man and you're burning fats all the time, I guess. But there you go. And then you've got little creases here, or folds, where his boot would be, which is cool. And I do like the color of the boot. Like, it's not this super bright yellow, you know? So for example, I've got, you know, Naruto over there. He's got a few types of yellows on him, but this isn't like a super bright yellow. It is more of a darkish gold, almost bronze-like, and it's got highlights of black all around. And I think that's really what makes it more grounded, realistic in a sense. And you know, I think it just adds a lot to the piece. And you're gonna see this gold trim really reflected in all the other parts of his body. So as we move up from his boots there, you're gonna see that reflected in his belt. You're gonna see that reflected here in his armband. Super cool stuff. And then right here too. And it's got a nice little angle to it. Also highlighting some of the, look at that. It's like, let me see if I can focus this a little bit. There we go. Just highlighting some of the, you know, grunginess. Like it's almost like it's dirt in a way, the way it's painted on. So it's like he just came from a battle and whatnot. I mean, I guess if we're gonna add a story to it, right? And then you've got it as well, the gold. It's all the same sort of tinge, right? It's not anything different, which is totally fine. But I do like the way they use the gold here. It really brings out the style and the theme of the piece. You're gonna see that here in his ears. His ears, or like his, what do you call it? Headphones? I don't know. His earpiece, there you go. Right along the sides, yeah? And then obviously outside of just a gold trim, just the overall musculature. Look at that, like he just looks ripped, right? So when you start all the way up here, I'm not like an expert on like what certain muscles are called, but definitely I know these are, you know, your quads, right? You got his hamstrings, just the striations all the way around. And I think that the black, you know, sort of like addition that they have here to kind of highlight it really just makes it pop. And then even in his arms right around here, you're gonna see a lot of just veinage, you know, veinage, I don't know if that's a word, but striations in the hands and in the glove right there. And it continues all the way around. Look at that, like you can see the veins right here. And look at this back is just look at that work. Wow, you can tell he's been doing pull-ups, or maybe not. But there you go, just look at this, like the sculpting, right? And the way his muscles are each individually just kind of, you know, protruding is really cool right here in the back of the neck. I don't even know if this is accurate to like what it really ripped back looks like, but God, man, you gotta hand it to the sculptor. It's just a lot, and I think it does a good job of highlighting that. Actually, I mean, he might even have more ripped muscles than Broly over here. You know, I think just definitely more definition. And you know, it's always like, again, with this piece, especially with Flash, I think most people understand, and if you're in the statue community, you understand that, you know, coming up with a very dynamic Flash is really good, is super hard, and I love how they just went with a sort of very static, very opposite from what he is, and just made the pose and the sculpt, you know, just amazing, right? So, hands down, definitely, and big props to just how this, you know, piece and just focusing on the individual himself, like, came together. So, outside of that, you got his shoulders, his chest. Like, I didn't even know if you have like this type of muscle here, but man, the pecs and just everything from here to here, just, it looks like he just got shrink wrapped, you know. You got the abs, you know, flowing, and you can sort of see all the intricate sculpt. I don't even know if that's a 6, almost like an 8-pack right here, if you count this bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then the obliques right there on the side there, everything just, oh, look at this. So the veinage that you get when you're pumping, you know, you're lifting weights, see that right there? And all the striations, as if you were, you know, really the fastest man on earth, right? Really shows that right here in the striations and the veinage, again, just protruding like the way it is. And I like how it's not like just super symmetrical. Like, you know, the easy route would be whatever's going on here is also over here, but obviously they made changes to this side as well as this side as well. Now on the arm here, I think I mentioned it earlier, but you see a little bit more of it up top here, extending from his bicep down to his forearm, right here, even extends to his, look at that, wow, his hands, right? And, you know, having this sort of like freehand look, I gotta say, it's not easy to come up. Usually it's a lot easier to just like, you know, have a ball of a fist, right? To kind of do the look that you want. So having this sort of freehanding, I don't know if that's a word, but the freehand look to it, I think is just the simplicity. I think that's what I wanted to highlight is I think what makes it really pop. You know what I mean? Just natural enough so it looks like he just came from battle. And there you go. So one last thing, let's take a look at the helmet and the face sculpt. So this part is really what sells. He just looks intense. You see the little the details here on the helmet piece here, how his mask would end up connecting, right? So you see even little stitching there, which is a nice little detail that they captured. It goes all the way around, and then the top of the helmet that way. And it even has the helmet, it's not like a perfect round helmet. I don't know if you can see like the indentation where it kind of comes to a corner. At certain angles, you can see it right here, right? So it kind of comes this way. I think that is what gives it this really aggressive look. Like most people would probably do a helmet and just a super flat round piece, but having this sort of like aggressive look and it lines up with his eyes is really great. And so when you get to his face here, just look at that. Hopefully I can get a good look. There we go. So his nose, his mouth, the way that is just all protruding and really detailed in that way. The mask, I gotta say, is a really cool effect. I do like this sort of like jagged look right here on the side, where it's not just a flat, it just comes up and then cuts in a little bit, just for some corners. And the way his his eyes and even the way his mask kind of comes down this way, I think is what gives it that really nice look and aggressive look. If we try and go in a little bit, let me see if I can zoom in as best as I can, but his eyes, there you go. His eyes are like this nice little blue. You can't tell in the camera, but it does seem a bit more reflective. I don't know if it's a sticker or if it's paint, but there we go. I'm gonna see if I can try and get that on camera. So I don't know if this black thing is, oh, okay, it's just a speck of dust. There you go. So all of that, the skin tone, it's like this really nice, on the camera, skin tone's really bright peach. I'd say it's a bit darker, maybe more closer to just human skin tone in a sense, but on the camera, it comes off really bright. But again, I'm not complaining just because sculpt wise and, you know, it really comes down to preference. He is definitely a darker sort of like rendition of Flash, because obviously you're used to seeing Flash in a bright red suit. You still get that bright red suit, but just, you know, impeccable in terms of just the lighting. I think I'm gonna put him in one of those like glass cases, that's actually acrylic, but an acrylic case and have the lights shine on him, and I think that's gonna help the colors and the musculature really pop out more. So man, look at that. I gotta say, I really love this piece. Flash is my favorite character, at least from DC, and I think they did a great job with this one. Woo! Okay, so overall thoughts on the piece, I gotta say, it's another one of those ones that's just a standout piece. Again, I mentioned earlier, he is my favorite character, and at least from a superhero side, and it just came out so good. So I'm happy that I got this in, and I guess for a little bit of background, this, again, is actually my first time getting into custom, pieces. And, with custom statues, they usually have low edition sizes. So I'm just happy that I was able to get in on this one. And, from a price standpoint, it's not too bad. I mean, it's very close to what you'd expect, especially if you've bought, statues in the past before. Price-wise, this came out to 1,100 USD in terms of what I paid for just the statue itself. And then having it shipped here to the Philippines, I was in at about $200 US. So, I mean, that just kind of tells you the price. Now, I do want to give a shout out to World of Custom Statues and Unboxing Bros and my contact there, which is Karl. Karl really helped me out with this one. I know that when it comes to statues, you can, go directly to the one who's commissioning the piece. And for this time, it's actually my first time getting into it. So, I mean, like getting into the whole custom, order experience. So I said, you know what? I've seen videos of Karl online on YouTube and just decided to reach out. I joined his Facebook group. Shout out again, Karl, to that. And he helped me out secure this and we got it shipped. So super happy with that. Now, obviously, with custom statues, there is risk. And actually, if you're watching this video, you might be aware of the statue itself and what kind of happened along with it. So from what I know, the story is, because I am also involved in I'm actually a part of the group where it was, but I just kind of watched and did most of my dealings through Karl. But I was part of the group. I sort of saw what was happening, and there was a case where, unfortunately, the pieces were having a hard time not having a hard time shipping out. They just weren't shipping out. And, long story short, just one of those cases where, customers had basically paid for the statue. The payments weren't made from the commissioner to the factory. And so the factory was stuck with pieces. And the original customers were left with no statues and having paid it in full. And so it's just one of those unfortunate events that happens. And what ended up happening was a lot of these statues were going out for much cheaper. I think even half the price, because basically the factory was like, okay, if we're not going to get our money out, we might as well sell it what it cost us to make, or at least, at much of a discount than what I originally paid for it. So if you are coming late into this order and there's still some available, you probably get it for a lot cheaper than what I bought it for. But for those of us and those of the customers, and some of you guys might be watching this, that unfortunately, paid through the commissioner, it's just one of those things where I guess we're gonna have to wait for the whole process and see how, everyone's gonna get their money back, because what's gonna happen is they're not gonna get that money back, and or at least is the worst case scenario. The money doesn't go back, and then if they still want the statue, they have to pay on top of it, even at the factory price. So considering even if the factory price is a discount, it's still a lot more because you paid for the original price, for example, my 1,100 USD, and then you add the additional on top of it. So I don't know if that, again, if you were an original person who ordered this, I don't know if that's a price that's worth it. But again, I guess that's just what happens with custom statues in the sense where you do carry that risk. So in my scenario, I'm super happy that I connected with Karl, because from what I know, when I had already paid this off, the statue was already set in a different warehouse. And so when everything came down to it, my statue was still ready to ship, regardless of sort of like what happened on the back end when it came to like the purchasing of this piece and how the funds were handled. So that's just a side note. I don't usually get into this kind of stuff. I just want to focus on the piece, but I did want to provide context for those of you guys that are wondering, like, how do you get a piece like this? What are the risks? And so I would say if you can sort of get, connected with somebody who's really reputable, and, and like definitely in this case, Karl really did me a solid to help secure this piece. So thanks again, Karl. But yeah, it's a lot more helpful. You're a lot less at risk. And, I would say
there is advantages too, because I live in the Philippines. Karl is also from the Philippines, so you know, definitely that process of managing it was a lot easier, and it just went straight to my house. It's actually the first time I've had a statue come straight to my house, and it was yeah, no questions asked. When it arrived, no extra payments. It was just, here you go, because you paid for your shipping, and it was here. So there we go. I don't know if he's rare, but who really cares? Because for me, this thing is awesome, and I don't think I'll ever really need another Flash statue. It'd be hard to beat this one just because of how, you know, solid and iconic it looks. And as far as dynamic pieces, I have a lot, and some of them like up in my other room. But at least this one, even if it's static, it's almost like static dynamic. It's like, it's static enough where it's just in place, but also dynamic where you kind of go, wow, there's a lot going on with this piece, and just you can just imagine the environment the Flash just came from to achieve this really cool pose. So anyway, that's a lot of talking for me. Point is, I really love this piece, and if you were lucky enough to grab this one, man, props to you. Again, big shout out to World of Custom Statues, Unboxing Bros, Karl again. A lot of shout outs. Thanks, man, for pulling through, getting me this piece, and thank you guys for watching. I hope this showed a little bit of context on what to get when you get this piece, and you know, if you didn't get a chance for it, I'm sure there'll be other Flash statues, but this is definitely one that was super cool to get a hold of. So again, thank you guys again so much for watching and tuning in and watching this whole unboxing experience, and really more of a review. It's not really much of an unboxing. It didn't really take long. But as we usually do, we're gonna end the video with a little bit of a montage and close-ups of the piece. And till then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace.
Hey, yeah, let's go. Local legend, but the whip I got is foreign. Extraordinary, yeah, I feel like Alex Warren does. Please will not be calling me if it is not important. If I don't see no dollar signs there, then I'm ignoring them. Got a couple kids nowadays that I'm supporting. Turn it down 100,000, I wasn't bored enough. Yeah, I wasn't bored enough. I'd rather stay at home, just the four of us. Knock, 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 say hello to opportunity. Show them everything that I be doing, think it's doing me. Check, 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 everything I do is to a T. And only other corner hitting hardest in the USC. Oh, Irish in my blood and all that money keep on doubling. I ain't tried to ball cause I ain't really one for fumbling. Made a couple M's, went gold, now I'm loving it. Drive through them all, can't stomach it. One time cause I had to prove it to myself. 2 times doing that for everybody else. 3 times just to put the trophy on the shelf. 4 times just because I couldn't, I ain't doing nothing else. Local legend, but the whip I got is foreign. Extraordinary, yeah, I feel like Alex Warren does. Please will not be calling me if it is not important. If I don't see no dollar signs there, then I'm ignoring them. Got a couple kids nowadays that I'm supporting. Turn it down 100,000, I wasn't bored enough. Yeah, I wasn't bored enough. I'd rather stay at home, just now wait, second thought. Maybe take a trip down to Florida. Need to change the weather, Tennessee just wasn't warm enough. Son and everybody, they been eating out the formula. Everybody talking, but at least they ain't ignoring us. Ay, reservations for 20 at Show. Like that iceberg, I'm tipping a boatload. Got incredible friends, yeah, they froze on. Taking hits on the one like I'm Soto. Catalog multiples of double digits. Staring at the number like it's double vision. That's what happens when you trust the vision, but keep it humble for the juxtaposition. I changed my life overnight with a couple decisions. Stay working like there's somebody who's coming to get it, and don't get caught up in the talking in the public opinion. Yeah, I had different functions cause I'm functioning different. Ay, 1 time cause I had to prove it to myself. 2 times doing that for everybody else. 3 times just to put the trophy on the shelf. 4 times just because I couldn't, I ain't doing nothing else. Ay, local legend, but the whip I got is foreign. Extraordinary, yeah, I feel like Alex Warren does. Please will not be calling me if it is not important. If I don't see no dollar signs there, then I'm ignoring them. Got a couple kids nowadays that I'm supporting. Turn it down 100,000, I wasn't bored enough. Yeah, I wasn't bored enough. I'd rather stay at home with the 4 of us. Legend, but the whip I got is foreign. Extraordinary, yeah, I feel like Alex Warren does. Please will not be calling me if it is not important. If I don't see no dollar signs there, then I'm ignoring them. Got a couple kids nowadays that I'm supporting. Turn it down 100,000, I wasn't bored enough. Yeah, I wasn't bored enough. I'd rather stay at home.